food. Charles Burrow runs the Humanity Project, which is organizing the Feed the Community campaign, and he joins me now in the studio. Hi, Charles.
Hey, how you doing?
Great, thanks for coming in. So tell us a little bit about how this project and how it got started.
Well, this project in particular started because I woke up one morning and I had about 6 or 7 messages on my phone from people in the community that are either the working poor or the homeless. And they had said that one of the food banks and a soup kitchen had closed, and they didn't know what they were going to do, and was wondering if we could help them. By noon, I probably had 30 messages.
Oh, wow.
And that's when I knew it was going to be an issue for people to be able to eat. So I reached out to one of our friends and partners at What Kids Need Moncton and let them know what was going on, and without hesitation, we said, okay, well, what can we do?
And when you say they closed, did they close just temporarily?
Yeah, they closed for vacation, so they could take a little break, and they work hard throughout the year, and just needed some time. But the issue is, when you have a soup kitchen that's closed in one end of town, a lot of people don't have transportation to get to the other one, and then that kind of leaves them in between a rock and a hard place, so to speak.
So can you give us some examples of the kinds of stories you were hearing from people in those 30-plus calls you got?
Yeah. It's a lot of people, without transportation to be able to get to it. Others that basically they work during the day and they have a hard time getting to the food bank. We had one gentleman the other day who said to us, after he found out we were doing the meals, he said he thanked us because he had hardly eaten in a week and he had a hard time finding anything to eat. One of the issues in the city is the soup kitchens are only open from 11 to 1. So after 1 o'clock, there's nothing to eat. If you had to go 1 week, you only had a 2-hour window to eat, but you could only eat at one certain location. So if you're at, let's say, the other end of town and you can't get there on time, then that causes a problem, because then you're waiting until the next day until you can eat again.
And so there are a lot of people that basically that is their one meal of the day.
Yeah, oh, certainly. There are a pile of people that are living on our streets that rely on that each and every day.
So you get these calls, and what did you do next?
I just made a post on our Facebook page and asked our members if they wanted to help with this project. And without hesitation, more people stepped up to the plate and said, let's do it. So we created a little side page for the events, and the amount of people that started joining and asking what they could do, where they could volunteer, when we could do this. And Lyle's gas station up on St. George is a wonderful man. He let us use his place on the weekend, which was great. But the problem during the week is if you use it there, the traffic stops and it's a business and they need the garage. So we kind of ran into a little bit difficulties trying to find a place to be able to organize it.
So you needed a place where you guys could gather and have people come, and then you could offer them what you had.
Yes.
And so what did you try? What were some of the other options you considered?
We messaged the city to see what locations were available. And we reached out on Facebook and asking everybody if they knew of any locations, and a lot of different responses. And we reached out to different people, and some of them we got replies back saying, yeah, but it has to be during this time or this time. And then some of them, there's just a flat out no.
Were you surprised by how difficult it was to find a location?
Yeah, you know, we live in an age today where we are more concerned with the fear of liability than taking care of our fellow human beings and doing what is right. And some people, they have good intentions and they would love to help, but they're scared of, like I said, liability issues of, well, what happens if this happens? What happens if that happens? But my question is, what happens if someone starves? Who's liable for that? Who's liable when someone freezes to death out in the wintertime? You know, it's not, to me, I would rather take a lawsuit 7 days a week than know somebody's going hungry or going to freeze out on the street. So I think that's the one thing that stops a lot of people is liability, red tape, bureaucracy, just excuses. is really what they are.
So have you found a spot at this point, Charles?
No, we don't have a permanent spot. Now on the weekend, this weekend, we will be at Lyle's, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We will be at Highfield Square again today, and we will be at Highfield Square at supper time today. But at lunchtime, we will be at the park on the corner in Noel and Catherine Street.
Okay.
And see, that's a hard-stricken area down in. And we, like the other day, we've probably 50 to 100 kids. And there's a lot of people in that area who thanked us, and they're like, I didn't know what I was going to do.
And so just explain, what does it look like? I mean, you guys show up, and what do you bring, and how do you set up, and how does it work?
We show up with a couple volunteers, a couple cars, a couple foldable tables and chairs, and we pop them out, and then it looks like a pile of happiness happening in a corner, because there's a lot of happy people once they see us coming or when they end up leaving. The amount of thank yous that we get, and repeated thank yous from the same people over and over again. And when it comes time to cleaning up, most of the people stick around and help us clean up, and they help us put everything away, and the spot that we use is usually cleaner than before we got there.
And where do you get the food? Who prepares it?
Volunteers. We put out a thing. We wanted to do hot turkey sandwiches the other day, and we estimated about 5 turkeys, and then we were going to use it to make the stock and make a soup. And I think we had 8 turkeys cooked by people in the community, and then we just prepared it all together and then had it ready.
And for you, Charles, I mean, why do you do this? I mean, lots of people hear these stories and they say, oh, very nice, good, I'd like to help, I'm very busy. I mean, what makes the difference for you that you actually go that next step and the step after that?
I work a full-time job. I work once a week. The reason why I run and continue to manage the Humanity Project is because I believe in change. And I know that in 11 months we fed over 200 families alone. And when I'm a senior, I don't want to have to worry about where my next meal's coming from, like the seniors that I'm feeding today are. And the only way to do that is to get off my couch and make that change.
And so if people hear this morning and they want to get involved and they want to give you a hand, what can they do?
They can go to our Facebook site, and they can go onto our events page. They can just follow the post, or they can post themselves what they want to do, and someone will respond back to them. The biggest need that the Humanity Project, or what kids need, has is space. We are growing so fast, and we have so much support from the community that it's a location to be able to store food, to be able to store clothes, because like you said, there's a lot of businesses that want to help. Tommy Hilfiger gives us clothes all the time to go out and give them to the homeless. Maritime Cresting Company gave us tons of clothes the other day with windbreakers and jackets, and that stuff is essential to them. It keeps them dry, and it keeps them looking good. And when you look good, you feel good, and it can change your whole attitude.
All right, Charles, we're going to have to leave it there. I thank you so much for coming in this morning, and good luck with this. If people want to check it out, the Humanity Project, or what is the other one? What Children Need?
What Kids Need Moncton.
What Kids Need Moncton. Great. That's Charles Burrell. He is with the Humanity Project, and as you heard, you can find more details on Facebook.